Well, good morning, everyone. It is 11:30 and we will get started. You all know how I love to start on time. This morning, we have a wonderful speaker that is coming with us for our phase two of this leadership series, and that is none other than Krystal Floyd, who will be speaking with us this morning. Now, to save time, I went ahead and I posted her bio in the chat as well, so you can read that. I want to make sure that we have enough time to hear from her this morning and also ask questions. So I am going to get out of the way. I hope you all are excited about this phase two, and I'm going to turn it over to Krystal. Can we welcome her this morning?
Thank you guys. Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Good morning.
Doing, doing good. How are you?
Doing well. You guys are a lively bunch. That'll make it fun because I want you guys interacting with me. So thank you so much. I'm glad to be here today. I am going to share the presentation on my screen. Can you guys see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Awesome. So I am Krystal. My bio is in the chat, but I serve currently as the operations manager for Maximize Growth, a leadership and development company right here in Montgomery, Alabama. And I'm so thrilled to be here with you guys today. We will be focusing on mastering soft skills for success. And this is a topic I feel very strongly about. So during my time at Tuskegee University for many, many years, if I enjoyed anything about the job, it was working with our ambassadors there at Tuskegee and giving them the tools they needed to succeed as they went off. And of course, we had all different ages there at Tuskegee for ambassadors, but I really so much enjoyed pouring into students and giving them the tools that they'll need after college that they could use currently and after college. So let's jump in, shall we? So, one of the things that I want you guys to learn today is how to define soft skills, what that means, and to put it into action. We'll also go over some key skills I feel that you guys will need to know, like exploring emotional intelligence and communication and professionalism. Again, I want this to be a lively discussion or we are going to have a bad time. So please talk back to me when I talk to you. And I want us to end with answering some questions. I'll be happy to do that, but also with reflecting so that you can take action to move forward. Does that sound like a good plan for you guys today? I don't hear
Yes.
anyone. Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys learn quickly. So, the first thing I want to do, I have a quick poll for you guys. You can join that poll at menti.com and use the code that's on the screen. But I want you guys to tell me what is one soft skill you wish more people had?
Initiative.
Initiative. That's right. Correct. I love that. Tell me more about what you mean about that and how you would like that shown in the workplace.
Well, like oftentimes, I see people kind of like work and they like wait more for commands, but like there'd be like more productivity if people are able to kind of like move without being told what to do every second. It's kind of like micromanaging, but if someone's able to like use their prior knowledge in the workforce, I think that helps with efficiency.
Absolutely. I love that. That's one of the top ones on my list as well, making sure that you're showing initiative, that you can be trusted and that you know what's going on, you know the temperature of the company and be able to jump in. And employers should be able to show you that they trust you in the direction that you're wanting to take that. Did anyone participate in the Menti, or do you just want to talk about it? Someone else want to volunteer?
I see someone put in the chat active listening.
Active listening. Thank you for that. I don't have the chat pulled up. So tell
Yes,
me
ma'am.
more about active listening and what you mean by that.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Miss Floyd. My name is
Hi
Isaiah
there. Call
Brunson.
me Krystal. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please call me Krystal. Please, please,
Yes,
please.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your initiative. I wanted to put that. I put that in the chat. My name is Isaiah Brunson. I put that in the chat because I realized that active listening is rarely more. instructive, is more, enhanced, especially in today's society,
Mhm.
that, is good to hear from others. And you never realize how much more you can understand from another perspective by just listening. It's good to explain things, but active listening allows you to be more credible in what you're doing. So I believe that's a good skill that is much needed in this time as well.
I love that. I agree with that as well. The key word the operative word that you used was active. A lot of people just hear to hear. They take in the information, they don't do anything with it. They don't process it. They don't seek to understand. They don't seek to win with the person that's speaking with them and respond accordingly. And so active listening is very different from passive hearing words that are going in people's ears, right? So thank you for that. We'll move on. Thank you for sharing, you guys. So, intro to soft skills, what does that mean? So, soft skills are it's defined as personal attributes that influence how effectively you interact with others, right? Have you guys heard the term soft skills before? And have you had anyone share soft skills with you? Anyone familiar?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect, perfect. How about hard skills? That's defined as specific teachable abilities or knowledge sets, right? And then you hear a lot about soft skills versus hard skills, but I rarely hear people speak about where they combine in the middle there. And there are some things that we do that take both, like public speaking, like I'm doing right now, right? Performance management, decision making. It requires hard and soft skills, and those are both things that your companies are looking for, and your future companies will be looking for as well, those shared competencies. So, tell me, we're going to interact a little bit more again. Where do you already use soft skills? And it can be in life, at work, anything that you want to share. And tell me why.
Um, I feel like every day in my marriage, and I'm a substitute teacher,
Okay.
to have humility. A lot of people are more likely to want to listen to you if you're humble and you're not condescending
Yes, ma'am.
or like haughty. So just like being a compassionate person, not acting like a know-it-all or having like a big head.
Yes, ma'am. It's important not to have the big head and to be humble. Anyone else want to share? All right, you guys are going to have me chatting by myself. Is there anything in the chat? Is there anything in the chat? Okay, perfect. All righty, so we're going to move on. So there are three skills that I want to hone in on today. And there are a host of a myriad different soft skills that we can focus on. But I want to focus on the top three skills that I think you'll be needing for intern success. So we're going to talk about communication, we're going to talk about professionalism, and we're going to talk about emotional intelligence today. And I want to start by defining each one of those for you guys today. So, first, communication is defined as the ability to clearly and effectively exchange ideas, feedback, in a way that builds understanding and trust. How many of you guys know that communication can be verbal and nonverbal? It could be how you dress, how you present yourself, how you show up, all of those things, how you present yourself, how you walk into a room, all of those things are communicating with someone, and that can be good or bad. It could be your intended message or not your intended message, but it's communicating something. How many of you guys know that? And how many of you guys take that seriously?
I believe in that because I was growing up with my parents. They'd always dress up the part and they would go like to these meetings and talk with people. But it's kind of like if you like dress like in a plain t-shirt or something, you're talking business or their shirt is dirty or sloppy. Like you, people aren't going to really take you serious or want to like invest in what you're trying to sell them.
Yeah, I love that you shared that because last night I posted a picture of me and my mom on Facebook. And That reminds me of a story about my mom. Growing up, she dressed up to the nines just to go to the grocery store. If we're leaving out of the house, she has on her makeup. She has on her lipstick, red lipstick, and red fingernails. Because when you look good, you feel good, and you communicate something differently when you're out and about walking around. Like people knew she meant business because red obviously means you mean business, right? But it was what she wanted to communicate when she was out, and I'm not as fly as her. I'm kind of fly, but not as fly as her. I rarely do bright red lipstick, but I feel good when I am dressed appropriately, what I think is business attire. And I love colorful clothes because I like to step into a room and it communicate that you can trust me, it's open. We're going to talk business, but it's going to be kind of on the funner, lighter side as well. And I know my clothing communicates that with people.
I firmly believe in that. My wife does as well. When she dresses, she wears like brighter colors, like based on the situation. It like gives you like a vibrant idea of that person. It makes you more approachable.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. We'll move on to professionalism. So, the definition of that is a consistent display of workplace appropriate behavior. Workplace appropriate behavior. Keep that in mind. Accountability and respect that aligns with the expectations of the company. How many of you guys have been taught professionalism? When you're onboarded with the company, do they sit down and tell you, this is what I think professional is? This is how we show up to our customers, to our internal and external customers. Have you guys had those types of conversations before?
I have.
Perfect. Tell me about it.
Perfect. So currently I'm a teacher with Montgomery Public Schools. Oh, sorry. Hello there, everybody. My name's Arcellus Brown. I haven't had the pleasure to meet a lot of you yet in person. But yes, currently a teacher in Montgomery Public Schools, and we had our new teacher orientation
Mhm.
at Faulkner and University. It was just a moment of standards, from how we dress, how we hold ourselves, to how we address certain situations. So that it's such an important part of the onboarding is just to understand the culture of where you are, so you know how to move forward.
Absolutely. Professionalism means different things at different places. Each different workplace will have their own definition of what professionalism is. And so that's why it's so important when you first onboard and join a company that you take a look around. And if they're not having those types of onboarding conversations with you about how they define professionalism, you ask and you look and you make sure you seek to understand that, right? And finally, emotional intelligence. So, the definition of that is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions while also being aware of and responsive to the emotion of others. I feel like we hear on the surface a lot about emotional intelligence, but people never break it down fully. It's a little bit more than just hearing the other person. It's what you do with that information once you are being responsive to someone else. So, talk to me about emotional intelligence. Anything you guys want to share about that?
Well, I've had like management before that kind of was able to like take everything in when people were frustrated with the situation or like if the machine was down, they could kind of empathize with them, like find better solutions. Kind of I don't know, like it's something I struggling with myself, like especially like with my marriage, like emotional intelligence. But I've seen people be able to like stretch it out like that to where the person felt better after the conversation, like they felt like they're really heard and they're able to keep pushing forward after that because of the management being able to kind of look into their eyes.
Yeah. So why do you feel like you're struggling with that? What does that mean to you?
It's like for me, like I'm more like a logical person, and for my wife, she's more like into like the idea of like thinking through things and processing things. I kind of like go through like robotic. So I'm trying to take the robotic ideas out of my mind so I can better relate with people, especially like in the workforce.
Yeah, I used to be the very same way. So, if you guys are familiar with personality assessments, we are trained on DISC personality assessments here. And I am a C personality, which means conscientious. And that means I'm very logical. I want to take things from A to B. It's all about the tasks to me and how quickly I can get them done because that's what you pay me for. But it took me a while to learn that it's all about the people that are making those tasks move. And I'm giving you that for employer relationship, but that goes with all other relationships. You are better to understand someone, to hear them. You'll get a lot farther with them once you're understanding. So let me give you some examples of how emotional intelligence may show up at work. We had a client recently moving locations, right? And it was right in the middle of their busiest season. And so they were having to tackle moving themselves over from one branch to another branch, right? As well as all of their busy clients as well that they had. And their boss, we do a lot of work with them. We do leadership academies with them. That means we're coaching them. We are doing workshops monthly with them. We do the full gamut. However, they need us to be there, we're there for them. And their boss actually came to me and said, "Hey, I appreciate you guys reaching out, but I know my team is stressed. I know they have this, this, and this on their plate, right? And they probably can't handle anymore. So if we need to reschedule, push you guys back, have two in a different day, then that's what I need my team to do because I want them focused enough to do the move and tend to the clients. And this is just as important, but I have to give them this space. So it's about seeing people and being able to anticipate what their needs are because those people that are happier at work and in their work environment are going to be more loyal to you. They're going to be more resourceful at work. They're going to want to be there. And it makes a difference when you want to be there at work and you're not just getting paid to be there. How do you receive that? I saw someone take themselves off mute. Arcellus, did you want to say something?
Yes, I did. I did. So I have started my own business actually. Well, I'm on my second one. I'm on my second one right now. This is
Okay.
called Legendary Grilling, which is a catering business. So my question is, as I have two employees, is there a percentage that people believe that you follow when it comes to pay incentives versus other items, from the merchandise to the things that make them want to work there are
Absolutely. Absolutely. I get
yes,
your question completely. And there
yeah,
are percentages. I don't know the exact percentage, but people want to be happy at work. Number one. And that's over what the pay is. They
okay.
want to go somewhere. They want to be happy. They want to be empowered. They want to be uplifted. They want to gain knowledge. They want to do all of those things over pay. And it's a large percentage, even though I don't know what the particular percentage is.
Thank you for that.
Did that answer your question? Did you have any follow-up?
Yes, actually, I do have another follow up. Now with that breeds such a good work atmosphere, and with that, how do you take that work atmosphere and ooh, sorry. And just bring it into a constant feel. So, with these events of making people feel good, is it quarterly? Is it weekly? You try to do something, because doing the extra, it does take money from the budget. So, just trying to think, realistically, how many times do I incentivize or do something for the team?
I think it depends on your team culture, and everything else. I think it's specific per site. What I will say about it is that it needs to be consistent and it needs to be intentional. So sit down and map out when your employees are happier. If you've not done a survey, perhaps ask them what they appreciate about it, about your incentives and how they receive those and if they'd want to see something else. And then make your decisions based on accurate data, not you guessing, not you doing just what you want to do, but you'll have the data from the real people, the real boots on the ground to help you make those intentional decisions. I saw you shaking your head. I think I hit that one. Is that what you were looking for? Perfect. Any other
Hey,
questions?
Krystal,
Yes.
you do have a comment.
Okay.
I think it's important to understand your own emotions so that you are better able to emphasize and help others because it's always a team effort.
Absolutely. 100%. Who said that? Let's talk about it. Was that you? Oh.
No,
So Mila is our intern. She's in the room with me. She said that actually. So she's like, it's me, it's me. Thank you for that, Mila. That is absolutely right because as leaders, and you are a leader, no matter if you have a leadership title or not, everyone, each and every one of us is a leader, right? And a big part of being a leader, and consistently stepping into leadership roles is controlling your own emotions, right? Um, as leaders, we have to look at things as objectively as we possibly can and make the right decisions for the whole. So I may want to do XYZ, and I may be mad that you won't do XYZ, but I have to think about what's best for the company, right? What's best for the whole, what's best for our customers. So it doesn't matter if I just feel like I want to do XYZ. I mean, you have to move accordingly, and I have to control and swallow back down what I want if it only serves me as a leader. Any comments to that, you guys?
I do believe in that because it can get more like of a personal thing than a professional setting if you let your emotions guide you with like instructions and stuff. Like if you're following strictly on company policies and stuff, like there are like I would say like disciplinary actions. 'Cause I've seen people like kind of go in between the lines, and the supervisor had to like put their emotions on the side, and eventually things were handled, but it took some time. But it's just I think it's just you going through it over and over again, but like not getting personal with it for emotional intelligence when it comes to someone being difficult too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to share another story with you about my mom. It must be Mom Day. I usually tell stories about my dad, but my mom's getting all the attention this week. So my mom fought breast cancer, an aggressive cancer, about 4 or 5 years ago. And I went to work every day. I had to start leaving early to go take her to her treatments and to assist her when she wasn't feeling well. It was a very long time before people in the office knew about that. I went in there every day. Now, I'm not recommending that to you guys because we're all human, right? But every day I made a conscious choice to go in there and swallow it down. I have to show up and be the best version of me for my team today and get them off and going with what they need before I get so lost in my mind and my own emotions about that. And again, I'm not saying that was the perfect way or what you guys should do. I'm saying we're all human. And I'm using that as an example of how I had to make a conscious decision every single day to go in there. It got to a point where I had to take FMLA leave and I had to start speaking up because people were noticing that I was gone a lot and I'm not usually out. So I had to communicate it at that time, but I was able to communicate it in a way that I wanted to and when I wanted to. And what it showed to my team is that I was showing up for them every day. And I would hope that's what they wanted at that time in a leader. Okay, I'll get out of my bubble. Let's go back to the the script. So, um, which one of these soft skills on this screen do you think is the most important? Because I'm going to share some data with you guys. So, what do companies think is the most important of these three skills?
Professionalism.
Professionalism. Anyone else?
I would say communication.
Okay, communication. Why do you feel communication?
To me, communication is everything. It's how we relate to one another. And yeah, I think it's everything.
Perfect. All right. Someone else was going to speak.
I would say emotional intelligence.
I didn't hear you.
Excuse me. I would say emotional intelligence
Emotional intelligence. Yes. Why do you say that?
because this dynamic can affect the others too. Because when you recognize the team dynamics, you can communicate better, like what are they expecting,
Hmm.
and staying calm under pressure is the most important thing in a corporate world because situations always change, and you need to adapt to the situations and act accordingly, which is being dynamic. I say that's the
Absolutely.
more important thing.
I love that you use the word dynamic.
Mhm.
So we have had people share all three of them. So there is a winner. So you guys,
Can
Ariana,
I
were you going
also
to say
add
something?
something? Yes.
Yeah.
I do believe, to add on to what I said, there is no professionalism or emotional intelligence without communication.
I think that's a fair point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree with the Ariana. Communication is the first step, and because in the next step, action, it's the professionalism and emotional intelligence. When we have a good communication, after if everything's okay, we can
Hmm.
find decision for professionalism and emotional intelligence. If we have a bad communication, professionalism and emotional intelligence cannot help us.
Hmm.
And I think first step, an important step, is a communication, and it is a really, really important and critical in the United States because I've worked. Usually, it is a problem in the United States. Everywhere I see, in a factory, in a between manager and employee, it's really big problem because managers sometimes they talk when employee talk with them, they don't hear to the
Absolutely.
to the people to the under,
Hmm.
and everybody feel this here. And I totally agree with the Ariana. Not professionalism, not emotional, just communication is the first step.
I think you guys all shared some critical and important points and some fair points to the argument. But I'm going to tell you what Harvard Business School said. So this is not my opinion. It is Harvard's opinion that 71% of employers prefer emotional intelligence out of all of these traits, out of the other two. And I want to make very clear, based off of everything you guys said, all three are absolutely essential. And I would see it working as a little triad and moving. All of them have to move and grow at the same time, right? To keep your triangle. That's my opinion. You guys don't pay me for my opinion. So Harvard says that emotional intelligence is often the glue that holds a team together. It supports healthy communication and keeps professionalism rooted in respect and awareness. So, talk to me. How do you guys receive that? Some of you guys make shocked faces. Why are you shocked by that?
Well, while they are getting their thoughts together, I would say I could see now staying calm under pressure. That is the key, I think, there with that emotional intelligence, because you have to stay calm in order to communicate and work in professionalism. I could see that.
Absolutely. Spot on. Anyone else want to share anything about that?
I definitely
I
agree with the emotional intelligence
Mm.
because you have to have emotional intelligence to know how to communicate. Because if you don't, your communication is going to come out like spotty or not at all, or come off condescending, or you have an attitude, and it's going to create a toxic work environment if you don't know how to talk to people. Because I mean, everything may be fine at home, it may not be fine at home, but you have to have a separation. Like, this is my work life, and this is how I become professional. If you know how to manage those emotions, because professionalism is also an emotion. It's not anybody can come up in a business with a suit on and not know how to act, not know how to carry their emotions. So it's more than a visual, it's also emotional. So I feel like you have to have your emotional intelligence in order to know how to communicate with someone,
Yes.
know how to separate your inner feelings, to know how to talk to this person, and know how to carry yourself, to be professional using verbiage, body language, not rolling your eyes when you talk to people. So I feel like that's important.
Yes, ma'am. You said a word then. So very good. Thanks
Excuse
for
me.
all of that.
Let me let me tell you why 71% people choose emotional intelligence, because nobody won't get fired from job, and it is the reason they choose staying calm under pressure,
Yes.
and they respect it to the current law.
Yes.
And they choose this because they don't want change job, and changing job is making more stress, and they choose this option. Okay, emotional intelligence, and we manage or behavior or something that. But anyway, communication is the first choice, not intelligent emotional intelligence.
We got your opinion. Thank you for that. So they're just doing it to save their job, essentially. That's why they're saying that. Thank you for that. All right, you guys. We've already spoken about that. So why are these essential? You guys have said many of these things already, but to sum it up for you guys, all of those three skills work as a triad because they build teams that are clear, consistent, and connected, right? You want teammates on your team that are working in the same direction as you. You guys are accomplishing your goals at the same time. And in order to do that, you have to have clear, consistent, and connected communication with them about it, right? Together, they help foster trust, collaboration, and adaptability, right? And then when we practice all of these things together, they elevate both performance and the culture. It's about both. Alrighty, so I have some scenarios for you guys. I want you guys to identify what skill is being used or could be used more effectively, and we're going to discuss. That's what we're doing today. All right, you guys ready? So, scenario number one is in a group chat, a manager sends a vague update. We need to move faster. Team members are unsure what that means and they avoid asking questions. How do you guys feel about that? And what could be done differently?
Okay, this is there. I don't want to be the first person, but I saw something in there.
It's okay for you to be the first person. Go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But I saw something. One of the keywords. This seems to be in the message, and this is very common inside of like the workplace or in any professional setting. It came off as a fast remark or a fast comment. Many times it's probably like a stressed out manager or a leader that is being honed down, because in many workplaces there are levels of chain of command. And
Yes.
so if it's one crashing down on the other, then it's going to get to that point where sometimes it's, hey team, we got to get this going. And that's why I was told before that in when you're in that mode, it's very important to be careful with sending messages or emails through a team. I prefer, this is just my opinion. Anybody can defer, but it's good when I worked with the insurance company that I was with, the Department of Insurance. We had emergency meetings, and if it was like very important to discuss budget things, or if it was something that needed to go into a new year budget, we immediately had like a emergency meeting. And so that was to make sure that everybody was on the same page. It was not to tear anyone down, but it was just like, hey, we have to get this out, because that scenario could lead to misunderstandings, and you can cause the team to be afraid to speak up. But someone in that team may have a right perspective. They may have something that can add, and if they're afraid to speak up, then the team could be disseminated from a consistent, because you want to be effective, if that
Yes.
makes sense. So
Absolutely. All of that makes sense. One important thing that you said is you guys would have a meeting. And I didn't discuss that when we were talking about communication, but the avenue that you choose to communicate with, it could be text, it could be phone. I mean, we have a lot of different channels of communication, right? And a part of communication in workplace is choosing how you want to present the message. And so having a meeting in that case is really important because you brought everyone together. They hear it all at the same time, the very same thing from you, right? They are able to ask questions to gain further clarity so that you can be more effective. And others are able to provide feedback or give you other pieces of the puzzle that you may not have thought about at that time. So, all of those things are good in my view for communication. Let's talk about scenario number two. A teammate says they'll complete a task by Friday and they miss the deadline without explanation. They miss the deadline without explanation. And they say to you, it was just a soft deadline anyway. What's your problem?
I
Think
believe,
about it.
well, hey, what I saw what a problem was is the lack of accountability. We all have a timeline of events. If your main task is to say we're making pizza, and your task is to make the dough. Well, because you didn't do your job, it's now stopping me from doing my job, and that clogging machine can stop any organization depending on what you're doing. So, no, a person, one, it really affects accountability of the team, and then it also affects the timeline of everyone else on the team.
Absolutely. I love all of that. So you coined it as lack of accountability. You are a part of a bigger puzzle, right? You're part of a
Right.
bigger thing. And so if you're not doing your part, it affects other people that are a part of the whole. You guys are a sum when you're at a workplace. And everyone needs to be doing their part. You don't want to be the person that hinders their coworker from doing their job or getting it done at the time where they need to. You don't be that person. Do not be that
Exactly.
person, right? And it all goes back to your professionalism. The fact that they communicated it as a soft deadline is also a problem because do you have decision-making authority to
No.
know that it was a soft deadline to you, right? You
Right.
didn't ask any clarifying questions to know that it was soft or hard or what they needed it for, or that what could have been communicated to you. They arbitrarily made a decision that affected someone else. Do not be that person. All right. Number three. So, two employees disagree in a meeting. One rolls their eyes and interrupts. Don't be that person either. The other shuts down completely and stops speaking. Let's talk about it.
I say there's a lack of emotional intelligence with that situation.
Say more.
It's just like the way that they're reacting, like they're acting like they're like I say, like when people get like personal, they treat each other like siblings, or it's like how siblings or cousins will kind of interact like that. You're not supposed to be rolling your eyes in a professional setting. You're really supposed to like I can't really give a script for that, like based on the situation. But if you guys have a problem with each other or a disagreement, you should be like, "Well, I respect your opinion, but I unfortunately disagree with that." But there shouldn't be any need for going back and forth like street fighters.
So it goes back to
That's where I
something
could
that
get
was said in the beginning of
it.
this is the act of listening, right? Everyone, we don't have to share the same opinion. And I am one that personally loves hearing other opinions, no matter how crazy it may seem. My nephew, I'm going to talk about him today too. He is very different. He thinks completely different from anyone I've ever met in my life. And my sister is constantly saying, I don't understand how you can sit and listen to him. Number one, it's funny to me, and I love to laugh if you haven't noticed that. But number two, it doesn't hurt me or impact me in any way. It doesn't change my beliefs or how I'm going to move to hear somebody else out. And what they're saying may make me mad. I may want to roll my eyes. But is that a display of professionalism in the workplace? And does that give what gives me the right to shut someone else down completely? How does that work? Anyone else want to chat about that?
I just think it's a lack of emotional intelligence. That's your common people skills to be able to talk to someone with a differing opinion. Because I mean, we all have different perspectives. I love to use the example. If the math teacher says, okay, give me a math equation that equals 4. Okay, well, most people may say 2 plus 2. Well, you can have 1 plus 4, 10 minus 6. We can come to the same conclusion different ways. But when you have to agree to disagree or just be able to respect. My mom always taught me you don't have to accept it, but you should respect it. So there's a lack of respect for just general people, like relationships that I'm seeing, like we all have
Absolutely.
different opinions, and that's okay.
Yes. Sorry for interrupting you. So, what you said was same conclusion, but different ways. We can get to it different ways. I think that sums it up perfectly. All right.
I
Before,
think.
go ahead.
Oh,
Who's
I'm
speaking?
sorry. I just wanted to add one more little thing.
Yeah.
I think part of the emotional intelligence is knowing when not to have a sensitive topic discussed in the first place. Because it's just like something involving like politics, sports, or religion. If you know that's like a bowl to basically stir the pot, there's no need to mention that conversation in a work environment.
Yes, all of that. Stir the pot. There are people out there, they go to work to do that.
Yeah.
Their sole purpose is to go and stir the pot. We have people even outside of work, their sole purpose is to stir the pot. So why allow them that to get you and show you to be unprofessional? You don't want to fall privy to that. So, all righty. So, one thing that I would like to do, and I always want to do with you guys, do you guys like this picture? Now it's your turn. So I like to end our sessions with a bit of reflecting because we all go to a lot of these sessions and no one clearly draws a line from the concepts to how it will impact you personally. And so that's where I want to spend some time right now talking about what you can do with the tools that you learned today. So I want to give you like 60 seconds. And I want you to write down one skill that you're confident in, one skill that you want to improve in, and one action step that you can take to build it this summer. Okay. And is it Jeopardy music? I don't have it pulled up, but na 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 na. You guys take some time to reflect, please. How's it going, you guys? Do you need more time?
I just finished.
Perfect. Looks like Isaiah may need some more time. Looks like you're still writing. Ariana's still writing. D. Gibby is still writing. All right, I'm doing a temperature check. How we feeling? Are we done?
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone want to share theirs? And Mila told me during that brief intermission that there were a lot of people in the chat. So sorry, I don't have the chat pulled up. So, but talk to me.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon. This is Portia. I would say one skill that I'm confident in is being calm and being a calm listener. I would say one to improve in is I'm an opinionated individual, and I have to continuously learn not to reply to all things. So instead of, just speaking on everything, I
Hmm.
just need to learn to just be still and just listen and, just pick a battle.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks,
I can
Portia.
I can go next. So I feel like I'm pretty good with communication, that I'm confident in, and kind of just like the professionalism when it comes to like just work. And so I'm also president of fraternity. And so this is something where I think I struggle with is kind of like the emotional intelligence of some other people in the fraternity with me and like kind of communicating to them or just not communicating to them, but saying things the right way so it makes them like listen better. That's something I think like I struggle with because I feel like in my experience, like you don't say it like in a harsh way or like come off like very serious, they're not going to understand or do the things that they need to do. And so I think just something I can work on with that, is just like learning how to like restate, like questions or kind of like you were saying earlier about doing surveys to see where people, enjoy the most or like about these different things, and then kind of reevaluating how to go about those things in a more positive way that everybody kind of understands for everybody's emotional intelligence.
Yeah, I love your action step there. And I love that you said restate. Restating what you heard can help with emotional intelligence as well. And I do that a lot. And I coach people to disarm people. If you go to them and say, well, you said X, Y, and Z, and you did X, Y, and Z, how would you take that, right? So I love to reframe it and restate that as what I heard you say. You may have not said this, but what I heard was XYZ because that opens the door for you guys to have a conversation, for them to change that. And it takes the accusations out of it. Well, you said to, you may not have said this, but I can tell you how I took that and what I heard from that. Is that true? Is that what you intended for me to receive from that? May be helpful because then you can start learning people and get on the same page with them. Thanks for sharing though, EJ. Anyone else?
I can go next.
Okay.
Okay, so I could say that I'm good at professionalism because I always try to be more and more effective in the way I communicate and in the way I project myself. And I would like to improve my emotional intelligence or the skill of reading the room because I would say this helps me to craft the way I communicate. Because when you understand what others are feeling, you can better craft your work or better your phrases, and you can just make sure your actions hit the spot where they are supposed to hit. So I would like to improve the skill by meeting more and more new people, trying to read between the lines and emotionally feel what they are, uh, what they actually mean and act accordingly.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else want to share?
Well, I'd say that my strength that I'm like most definitely confident is initiative, but I'd say I struggle with emotional intelligence. And I'd say I think a lot of men do struggle with the emotional intelligence. I'm noticing that a lot of
But
them
you
are
don't
saying that
have to, though. You do not have to.
well, what I wrote down was like really the best way for me to learn emotional intelligence is learn it through my wife because I have a hard time with doing that with relationships. So it's like kind of listening more to what she said, but I heard what EJ was saying about reinstating what someone said. So I could definitely use that as a tool to build on this summer.
Perfect. Anyone else want to share?
I think it's important um for me to or for us all to have kind of a self-reflection. So as you were asking that question, I feel like I am good. My strength is emotional intelligence, but something that I could work on And I feel like it's a kind of a deeper problem for people as like fear of rejection when we become silent or we don't feel confident enough to speak up or to be professional about a situation. So with that, I guess like being assertive, like having the confidence to be assertive, to let what your opinion is or how you feel or your perspective to be known, especially in the workplace.
Mhm.
Most people don't want to speak up because they feel like no one's going to care about my opinion, so I'm just going to be quiet and follow the majority. But I feel like something that I mean I could definitely work on is confidence to being assertive.
Yeah, did you write down any action step you can take?
I don't have a pen and paper, but just going for it, honestly. I mean, I feel like there's no really thing to, no game plan to just be more confident. I mean, you just got to get out there. I mean, that's me personally. I mean, just go for it.
Yeah, one thing about action steps and putting those into place is making sure that they are attainable, right? And so, could one of your action steps be instead of generally, I'm going to speak up more? What if you said, in our weekly team meetings, my goal is to share my opinion once per week on a topic you feel really safe with, that you know the answer to and you have strong feelings about? What if that's the action step? Instead of saying, I'm always going to share my opinion, put it into action with one step. This week, today, it could be daily. Today, I'm going to share my opinion on X, Y, and Z because I'm confident in what I believe and how I'm going to articulate that out to people. So, that's just my recommendation to you. I hope that's helpful.
Of course. I mean, I'm not really an opinionated person. I don't like controversy. I don't like tension. So, I mean, it's a time and a place for everything. So, just not being scared all the time, not
Yes,
to do something.
I hear that. I receive that. Thanks. Anyone else?
Hey,
This,
Crystal, can I
Yes.
ask a question? Going back to Jerkeisha, is there a way to overcome the anxiety of deciding to step up and talk and speak out?
I think I would give the same recommendation for that. Choose the time and place and make it a goal that you write down every week. It could be every day, once a month. Taking a look at the areas in your life and the people that you chat with regularly, and saying, and pick the safest person, someone that is emotionally intelligent, that's going to hear you and receive that well, will start to build up your confidence. So, selecting the right person, making it actionable by setting a definitive goal, and then building upon that every single week. And it doesn't have to be controversial. It can be, how's the weather? Well, the sky is green. I don't know what I'm saying, but it can be something very small, such as that, that will help build your confidence. And the more you actually put it into practice with a safe person, I think the better you would be with that.
hey, this Portia again.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I have just a little a comment on the being opinionated part.
Mhm.
I I'm very, very confident about when it comes to um like any type of conversation. That's I talked about emotional intelligence early this morning. And I'm that type of person that if an individual can't stand up for themselves, I'm that person that, that'll try to help them out. And sometimes that can lead to you being, um, what word am I looking for? Some people look at it, um, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but
As you being nosy or stepping into a role
yeah,
that's not
stepping into
yours.
the wrong, right, right. Because I always like for everything to, everyone to be treated correctly. Usually the first person to even talk because I love talking. So sometimes that gets you in trouble, because people think, well, okay, she's a know-it-all, or oh, she's showing off or something like that. So, how can you kind of put it in the middle of like not overdoing it and then still being confident.
So you have to choose your battles. If it's something you feel
Hmm.
very passionate about and the person is really being treated unfairly, for example, and if it's bringing down the culture of the organization, if it's affecting your efficiency as a company, those would be the top things. You have to put it into perspective for people. And if you're sharing this with your superiors, always tie it back to the bottom line. It's affecting efficiency. We're not getting X, Y, Z done. That's always the way. Think about your audience and what they typically receive and how they will receive that will help make those decisions for you, I would say. And also, I think in sharing the opinion, you didn't share how you go about doing that, but I'm offering this for the group. Sometimes you have to preempt and preface things for people. And so I will often say, I know this is none of my business, but it came to me that this happened, and I just wanted to make you aware because it takes it away, it shifts it from, you did this to Sally, and Sally was upset about that. Not saying that you do it that way. I know that you wouldn't do it that way. But
Right.
changing that and prefacing it so that people are ready to receive it for what it's worth. Hey, this is not my experience, but this is something that I've heard that's affecting XYZ over here, and I'm kind of concerned about it. And hopefully, you'll have the right types of people in your life and the right leaders that will accept that and receive that in the way that it's intended.
Thank you.
Is that helpful?
Yes, very.
Okay.
Thank
Sometimes I just talk. I don't know if it's helpful or not. So thank you for telling me.
you. Yes, thank you.
Anyone else want to share anything as we wrap up today or ask any questions? I'm happy to answer any additional questions that you may have.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Krystal. That what Miss LaPorche just gave, that was something that I had written down as well. Like, so I had down where I was good at professionalism and interpersonal communication, building emotional intelligence. That's something I definitely have been wanting to work on. And I wrote down a building step, to assess. Now I wanted to see how would that sound like. I have to learn to assess and not quickly engage with everything. Like it was mentioned beforehand, like not every conversation is meant for me to join or meant for me to, have uh, okay, here's my spiel, here's my thought on it, because sometimes, like I said earlier, like it's good to just listen.
Mhm.
That's what kind of led me into do active listening because some things, my perception was different from the other's perception. So that's what I was learning. So my comment is I was like, how does it sound right to, is this a good building step? Because I have it like learning to assess things instead of being quickly engaging. Is that a good?
Absolutely. Whatever step you wrote down is a good step. You don't need me to co-sign on that, but I will say that you want to make that again attainable, a goal that you can reach and you know that you've reached it. So I would put time bound on that. So this week I'm going to assess XYZ situation. And I do a lot of journaling. So I will write a goal for myself. I will then write down what the situation was, how I handle it, and then I will reflect on what I could have done differently, how I could have assessed differently after that, so that the next week and the next goal is tied directly to that, and then I'm making progress on it. Helpful,
Thank you.
Isaiah?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Just reminded me. Thank you.
All right, you guys, we are in our last couple of moments. It has been an absolute pleasure joining you guys today. I will also be joining you for July 22nd, so I will remember you, and I hope to see you back that day for our next session. I want to leave you guys with a couple different things. Soft skills are absolutely essential, right? Absolutely, especially in internships where you're building a reputation and learning teamwork matters most. This is your reputation. This is who you are, how you present yourself, what you put out there is your professional reputation. So you want to take that highly, right? And move forward in a way that suits your soul. So I was going to share a handout with you guys called the 10 soft skills you need to be successful. But you guys shared a lot about emotional intelligence. So I'd like to find a handout for you guys about that or put one together that may be helpful to you guys. And I'll send that over to Kenny here shortly to share with you guys. But we are here if you guys ever need help, assistance, have any questions, anything like that. And I'm going to do a quick commercial too because Mila's leaving and going back to her school very far away after this summer. We are looking for interns. So I'm your girl. If you need an intern for fall and summer, fall and spring, let me know. All right, Kenny, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. You all, can we thank Krystal so much for today's session? As she mentioned, she's looking for an intern, so this could be an opportunity for one of you as well. I would like to pause 1 second. Let's see, how can I pull this up? Let's go. So we're going to give out a couple of awards today, not awards, but gifts, certificates for lunch.
Oh,
And
I love that.
let's see who was actively listening. I have a couple of questions on here as well. So if it land on one of the questions, I'll ask one of the questions. Let's go. First person will be Azaria. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Montana, you earn a free lunch certificate, and I'll send that over to you. We're going to remove you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Go to the next person. Who will it be? You won. Are you still with me? Okay. And so you will be second. And our third person? Skip back again. Brianna, you won. And our last person for today, let's see, who will it be? Gibby, you won a lunch certificate as well. So that's the four individuals for today. Information that you all need to remember, you all. Tomorrow
Thank
we
you.
You're welcome. Tomorrow we will have our networking mixer. That will be downtown at Dreamland Barbecue. So that will be from 5:30 to 7:30 tomorrow downtown at Dreamland Barbecue. And then on Thursday, what do we have going on Thursday? We'll be here at the Montgomery Chamber at 5:30 for our what? Community service night. So we'll have Red Cross with us this Thursday night. That's an important meeting. I need you to be here, especially for that meeting. Are there any questions or concerns before we close out for today?
I have a question.
Hmm.
Our first video, I won a gift card, but I haven't been able to receive it. Did I lose it or can I get it Thursday?
No, I still have it with me as well.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
We, we'll be there Thursday.
You'll be there Thursday. All right.
Okay.
Well, I look forward to seeing you all that can make it tomorrow night at Dreamland Barbecue. They've set up a wonderful spread for us tomorrow, so I'm excited. I will see you there at 5:30. You all have a wonderful day. Thank you again, Krystal. We look
Of
forward to the
course.
next